The Moon is the fifth largest of the more than 190 moons in our solar system. But to us on Earth, the Moon is the most important one. Find out more about the Earth's only natural satellite.
Eight, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come and take a trip in my rocket ship. We'll have a lovely afternoon. Kiss the world goodbye and away we fly. Destination Moon.
Humans first set foot on the Moon on July 20th, 1969.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
For thousands of years, humans have marveled at the Moon. The Moon is basically a giant rock. Like the Earth, it has a core, mantle, and a thick crust. Its surface has thousands of ring-shaped craters where meteorites have left their mark. The dark parts of the Moon are old volcanic flows. The Moon has no atmosphere, so there's no oxygen there to breathe. Its surface is covered with a dark, grayish soil made up of dust-sized bits of rock. The dust was so thick that the astronauts who walked on the Moon left deep footprints. Earth's gravity holds the Moon in an orbit, but the Moon's gravity has an impact on our planet too. The ocean's tides are a result of the Moon's gravitational pull. Scientists think the Moon was formed about 4.5 billion years ago when a Mars-sized object slammed into Earth. The debris from that crash formed what we now call the Moon. It's only about a fourth of the size of the Earth and is our nearest neighbor in the solar system at about 238,000 miles away. The Moon flies in circles around the Earth in an orbit, while they both fly around in circles around the Sun. Here on Earth, we see different phases of the Moon. When the Moon is between the Earth and the Sun isn't lighting much of the face of the Moon, so it's dark, and that's called a new moon. As the days go on, the Moon moves into more sunlight, and we see more of it. That's called a waxing moon. When the Earth is between the Moon and the Sun, the whole face of the Moon is exposed to sunlight, and we call that a full moon. Then as the days go on, the Moon gets smaller and smaller. That's called a waning moon. It takes about 27 days, or a full orbit of the Moon around the Earth, to go through all the Moon's phases. About twice a year, when the Moon is in its new moon phase, it gets directly between the Earth and the Sun. That causes the Moon's shadow to fall across a small swath of the Earth, and that's what we call a solar eclipse. When the Earth's shadow covers the Moon, that's called a lunar eclipse, and that happens more frequently, about 2 to 5 times a year. And because the Moon rotates on its axis at the same rate that it orbits the Earth, we only see one side of the Moon. We call that the near side. From Earth, we can't see the other side of the Moon, or what's called the far side. But Chinese scientists landed a rover on the far side of the Moon in order to better explore and map it. The Moon has a long day and a long night, each lasting 2 weeks. It could get pretty hot and pretty cold on the Moon. In the daytime, the temperature rises to about 250 degrees Fahrenheit. That's hotter than boiling water. And at night, the Moon gets icy cold, about 290 degrees below zero. 105 robotic spacecrafts have been launched to explore the Moon, and 12 Apollo astronauts walked or have driven on the Moon's surface, bringing back about 842 pounds of moon rock and soil. Probes study the Moon, and scientists have found water in the form of ice in the Moon's north and south poles. That could be important, because both the United States and China want to go back to the Moon, even building a base where humans could live.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Adding another chapter to our story of space exploration.
Destination Moon.
If you want to learn more, head to the Science Trek website or check our related videos. And if you like Science Trek, be sure to click the subscribe button to catch our newest videos.